is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendes, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
Guys, today I'm here with Lauren at booth 86. Lauren, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Can you just tell us your Instagram name to start with?
Yes, my Instagram name is Carmela Designs. So it's CARMELA_DESIGNS.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. And can you tell us a little bit about the artwork you're exhibiting in your booth?
Of course. So my style of work is mostly simple, timeless. I really focus on using a color palette that's a little bit more muted, classic. I'm really more drawn to kind of a simpler life. A lot of my work is still life-based and nature-based. I get a lot of my inspiration from, I would say, the East Coast. Even though I'm based on the West Coast, I'm personally more drawn to East Coast vibes.
Yeah.
And so my work, I feel like, reflects kind of those characteristics.
You know, the thing that caught my attention about your work, it takes me like to the countryside in Italy. Like, it's so peaceful and inviting and chill. It really doesn't overstimulate the viewer. It makes you relax and pay attention to details. How do you come up with the ideas for your work? Is it organic? Do you keep a sketchbook?
I feel like I have a few different processes. I definitely enjoy traveling and I use a film camera these days now.
That's so cool.
It kind of helps you just slow down and kind of think about the composition more, and that kind of then relates to how I then paint a piece too.
Yeah.
So I have kind of a catalog of film I've taken. I do sketch when I travel at times, and then there's also just kind of those moments in life that just happen. I'll get a quick photo on my phone of maybe I saw a flower at a Trader Joe's or something like that. And then just a lot of my work, I feel reflects me personally and what I would want to surround myself with. So I just kind of even use my own home and if I had a piece I needed, what would it look like? Maybe how would someone else relate to that piece?
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And do you think being from the West Coast, as you previously said, do you think that influences your work?
I do think that, so I don't know how many people in San Diego, but it's not very
Shout out San Diego.
It's not very green. I mean, we have nature, but it's not like on the East Coast where you have all the beautiful trees and it's very lush, and that's a color palette that really attracts me. So I'm always kind of in my mind time traveling to greener places because it's something that I'm missing in my life.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of filling that void a little bit.
Yeah, love that. And I see a lot of nature in your work. Do you get inspired by nature? Do you enjoy being in nature?
Yeah, I feel like I've grown up in just a lot, my parents always kind of put us in nature a lot as a kid. Not a camping environment, but every weekend we went to the zoo. And the San Diego Zoo is known for having a large plant collection. And my dad would educate me on this is this type of tree. And he has a garden to this day where I also get a lot of my inspiration from. I'll go into his garden and pick fruit, and then I'll make my own still life composition with his oranges that he has every December. So it's kind of it's part of my upbringing almost to kind of surround myself with nature. With what we have. And I always love traveling to places that's a different environment. I went to Vermont 2 years ago, and that's the best thing ever was Vermont.
I love that.
Yeah.
And when you take the pictures, when you have them printed, do you sometimes just print the picture and transform into a painting? Or do you use little pieces?
I think it's kind of, it's a mix sometimes, because sometimes even if I take the time with film to think about the composition, it may not translate to the painting the best. So I'll probably take ideas of it. Maybe it's the way that the tree is shaped, or maybe it's the way the light's going through it, or maybe it's just the color palette, and be I really liked the color palette of that day, but I want to use it maybe and create a floral arrangement instead, or just something like that. So it's a little bit of a mix, just depending.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. And do you have any studio rituals that you do? When you get to the studio, do you have to have a coffee, read the news, or do you get to work right away?
So my studio is my second bedroom, which I also share with my husband as our work from home space.
Oh, nice.
So I really just need for him to not be there. So it's on a day when he's not working, it's just me in the room. It's quiet. I usually like to work just in front of my window, natural light, so no overhead lighting. And usually I'll have a tea, an iced tea. I'll be in comfortable clothing, and it's just having some music on, or just a show that I've watched before, and just kind of just jumping into something. Yeah. Just kind of being in my own little space.
Your little vibes, yeah. And do you have a preference, time of day, or are you just spontaneous?
I would definitely say that I'm a more morning creative, like maybe like 9 a.m. is when I'm feeling it. It's like I've had breakfast.
Yeah.
Not like, you don't have that hunger in your back of your mind.
Yeah.
It's still early, so I feel like I'm being productive, and that kind of gets me kind of inspired to work. That being said, I also work out of necessity. I've worked in the evenings when I've had to, just because when you have a show coming up or if you have a deadline, you work when you have to.
Yeah,
but I
totally
would say I enjoy like a nice slow Saturday morning in my space, comfortable. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty dope. And do you have any projects coming up this year or next year?
So we are getting into the holiday season, so I have some custom ornaments that I'm doing for clients that have pre-ordered them. I have a commission for a multifamily apartment building where they do like a model unit, and so I'm doing a piece that they'll have in the model unit that people will tour when they're gonna like maybe think about renting from that building. And then I might be I'm hoping to maybe do Chicago maybe in March with the other art fair. We'll see. That'd be a cool bucket list thing to go to Chicago. Yeah. Love Chicago. And then just keep painting, just keep traveling, keep gathering inspiration. Yeah.
And how does inspiration work for you? Is it something that you kind of have to work at every day and like write stuff down and like slow down a little bit to observe things, or is it just like it hits you whenever?
I did recently pick up morning journaling again, and that's actually been a really good way for me to like reset my brain and kind of like dump all of like your daily negative thoughts, well, not negative thoughts, but just like the daily thoughts you have every day, like, oh, I need to do laundry, I need to go grocery shopping, kind of getting that out of my brain space so that I'm a little bit more open to like my surroundings. So I feel like just having that daily practice has helped me shift my mindset, like when I'm going for a walk with my dog, to be less not thinking about that, because I already did it. It's on paper somewhere else. I can now like take the time to enjoy the trees I'm walking past, maybe see some like a neighbor's flower bush that was blooming that maybe I didn't see the day before. And so I think that practice has really helped me just, I guess, practice being more aware of my environments. Oh,
I love that. And do you have any idea for do you have any advice for like future artists that want to get into art?
I would say just keep painting.
Just keep painting?
Try new things. Like I say that I'm self-taught. I did go to school for interior design, but I think they're, in the sense that they're both creative is how they relate, but they're very different. I truly kind of had to practice, teach myself new skills, kind of like look at other artists for like inspiration of like maybe how they do a project, and just be open to what may come to you, because I started originally doing landscapes, and one day I was just like, I don't want to be landscape girl, I want to try something else. And so I forced myself to try still life, and that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years, and I've really been enjoying it.
Congrats, that's so cool.
Thank you.
And do you have any dream projects that you want to work, like with whether it's like different mediums, like sculptures or whatever?
I don't necessarily know about different mediums. I think it'd be really fun to collaborate with a company on something, like either like putting my work on like a textile pattern, even like a tile pattern I think would be really cool. Maybe working with a muralist to like kind of collaborate on an idea together, and just kind of keep exploring like different applications of my artwork. Oh,
that's so cool. Congratulations. Well, Laura, it was a pleasure meeting you. Congratulations on an awesome booth. Everybody, please go follow her on Instagram. Can you plug in your Instagram one more time for everybody?
Of course. It's Carmela Designs. It's CARMELA_DESIGNS.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ambassador Laura.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online.